Good evening, Eugene. How are you?
I'm great, Jana. How are you tonight?
Fantastic. We've got our festive on tonight. We've come with our bells, the tree trimmed, and even a glass of mulled wine for this one to get everyone in the festive season. We have produced hundreds of hours of podcast content throughout the year to keep our followers informed of what's happening in the world we live in. But one thing that we find as mothers, fathers, the grandmothers and grandfathers out there, aunties, uncles, neighbors, whoever has children around, is it's really hard to find films that are truly family friendly, films that don't push the DEI and all of the things that we're seeing in society onto innocent children. So, you take your children to the cinema and you're watching a film and you're like, there's a non-binary uncle. There's a LGBTQI man in a dress. I didn't want my kids to see this. So tonight, and Eugene, this was a great idea that you had. We're going to talk about the 12 films of Christmas, films that truly are family friendly, films that we have seen ourselves and that some of our subscribers have sent in to us. So let's kick it off with the 12 films of Christmas. And if we get a bit giggly, we are enjoying our mulled wine tonight. So please, no apologies there.
So I guess the criteria we had, as you said, it's we're looking for family-friendly films. They're all pretty popular. They're mainstream films, so we're not going into really kind of anything that's off the mainstream, so to speak. But they are ones that would be family-friendly. They're suitable for all age groups. We're looking for films that would have a Christmas theme. They may be set at Christmas time or have a Christmas theme, or there might be films that you just watch at Christmas. The ones that people traditionally watch at Christmas, they mightn't have necessarily anything to do with Christmas, but there would be wholesome films that people would tend to watch at Christmas, and certainly I would have watched, and I think you would have watched when we were younger. We're looking for films that would suit all age groups. So, and the ideal is a film that actually can appeal to the younger ones, because certain aspects of the film are just very appealing to a young person, the visuals, etc. But then that there would be layers in the film, of nuance that when you're older, you'd actually get to appreciate. And so the film you could watch multiple times actually, and you'd get more from it as you watch it. And certainly I think an awful lot of the films on the list are like that. When you watch them as an adult, you get to see things you never really realized as a child. And so repeat viewing. So, because very often people might watch these films, one Christmas after the next, because they just enjoy them so much. Okay.
And I have to say, Eugene, I've seen the list and I'm really excited to actually watch some of these myself. I grew up in a very rural area and we were pretty much screen free. We had a very small black and white telly and we watched maybe an hour a week. So a lot of these I never saw in my childhood, and I'm looking forward to sharing these with my children this Christmas season as well.
Absolutely, great. So let's kick it off. I'll kick up the first one, maybe, Jana. This is the Nativity Story, because this is why we're all here. This is what we're celebrating, right? So I think it's appropriate we kick off with a film on the Nativity, and this one is pretty close to the mark. It's set in as everything you'd expect from a biblical gospel perspective. It goes through the Nativity. The actors aren't kind of Hollywoody actors. There's an Australian lead who plays the part of Our Lady very well, and there's a Guatemalan who plays Joseph, and they do a great job, and it looks very authentic, and the same through the entire film. So I think it's a nice rendition. It's true to the story, and I think it's a good start to kick off your 12 Days of Christmas. This is what it's all about, and this is a nice rendition, and it's a relatively modern one as well to kick it off. Next up is A Wonderful Life. Jan, you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, it's A Wonderful Life. I haven't seen it in a few years, but it's going to be on my list this year. This is about a story where an angel is sent from heaven to help a deeply frustrated businessman to see the value of his own life. And, George Bailey, the character, feels sad. He thinks that his life doesn't matter, but a guardian angel named Clarence shows him what the world would be like if he was never born. So he realizes how much his life has mattered to other people. So it renews his hope, and he's surrounded by this love and support. So it has some really good lessons, which, one is everyone matters. Kindness makes a difference. Family and friends are important, and helping others does make life feel special. So it's a real heartwarming movie to watch at Christmas, and particularly given the mental health crisis that the world is in, even sadly the children are in. This is a real uplifting one to hopefully let everyone know that their life is so important and that it makes a difference to the people around them.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Jana. It's it's kind of a redemption story, I guess. He's kind of at the end of his tether, and the angel brings him back, right? It's fantastic. Lovely story. The next one is The Sound of Music. And now these are in no particular order, but Sound of Music would be a long-term favorite of mine for sure. Again, it's one of these films that will hit you at different levels as you get older, you know, because it's based on a true story of the Von Trapp family, a musical family. And Julie Andrews is absolutely outstanding in this. She, you know, she really does a fantastic job as the kind of looking after this family for the Baron Von Trapp, which is, you know, and it's just a wholesome story. The music is fantastic. The scenery from Austria and Salzburg is unbelievable. Obviously, you might have seen this in black and white perhaps in the past, but really to see it in its reconditioned color form and with the fantastic music and sound, the great acting, and the children are lovely. It's just such a fantastic, I think it really is a family film, that's for sure. It's got all the things you'd be looking for in such a film. So, you know, highly recommend it.
Excellent. Next, we have A Christmas Carol, and this one is the 1994 release, and it's based on the old miser who rationalizes his uncaring nature, but he learns real compassion when three spirits visit him on Christmas Eve. I actually saw this in my local opera house. I grew up in a small town, but there were a couple opera houses there, and I remember seeing this Christmas Carol with Ebenezer Scrooge, you know, live as a child, and then, you know, a decade later, the film here came out. So it's fantastic. You know, the Ghost of Christmas Past shows Scrooge about his lonely childhood in moments where greed replaced love. The Ghost of Christmas Present reveals the joy of the Cratchit family despite their poverty and the fragile health of Tiny Tim. And then the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come shows a bleak future where Scrooge dies alone and unloved. But he awakens on Christmas morning as a changed man. He embraces the generosity, the kindness, and the joy, saving Tiny Tim, helping the poor, and becoming a good friend, as good a master and as good a man as anyone could be. So I think the lessons that come from this for, again, all ages, even for some adults as well, is that people are more important than money. It's never too late to change, and kindness does bring people happiness. I think people generally, human nature is you feel good when you give, you feel good when you make someone else feel good. That's just in the human spirit and the heart, and our choices affect others. So Christmas spirit, hopefully the message from this is it means being good all year long, not just when Santa Claus is coming to visit. So another great one for the list.
Yeah, no, I love this one, Janice. One of my favorite Christmas films, and it's a great rendition. And George C. Scott does a fantastic job as Scrooge, and with a fantastic supporting cast, and the little guy that plays Tiny Tim, you know, is just lovely. So it's you know, it's a brilliant film, absolutely. Let's get the next one. So Great Expectations. So this is one of those films that isn't specifically a Christmas film. It's based on a Dickens classic, obviously, in Great Expectations. And I've picked the old version of it. There's newer versions of it, but I really like this one. I think it features John Mills. It's a young John Mills. And actually, Jean Simmons is in this film. She plays the young Estella. And again, this is a film that will catch you at multiple levels. It's the complexity of the plot and the characters that you see in Dickens in all his novels, and you get those portrayals in this. So it's a very rich film from that perspective, and you won't get it all as a youngster. You know, you'll kind of, some aspects you'll follow the story, and some things will appeal to you. But as you get older, you'll really start to see the full story. I won't spoil it, because there is a twist at the end. So as Dickens really likes to do sometimes, and there is it's a lovely ending to it, and it's a lovely wholesome story. And it does take you by surprise. And one of the things in it is Pip, the guy who, you know, he kind of comes into some money, and he's got a benefactor he doesn't know at the time. And he kind of loses the run of himself a little bit, you know, because, you know, and he kind of starts looking down on the people that he kind of looked after him when he was younger. And then he comes to realize he gets grounded again, which is fantastic. So it's again, a life story and a great kind of moral to the story. And it's, Dickens at his best, I guess, right? So
And,
black and white
yeah.
film, but well worth watching,
And it's
sticking with
quite
it.
it's quite good timing with all of the chaos and the suffering we have in the world today,
Yeah.
because one of the quoted lines in the film was, suffering has been stronger than all other teaching. And hopefully people can see that, with what's happening in the world today, that is teaching us, and we have to somehow see the silver lining in the cloud and realize there's hope at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all like, I don't want to spoil the story, but it's some lovely twists to it, and again, it's a really human story, and you're really good. The next one, The Miracle on 34th Street. This is a favorite of yours, Jana.
Yeah, this one I get nostalgic thinking about the days at Macy's department store, because obviously in Ireland now, 23 years, we don't have Macy's, but that's a big thing in America. So this film is starring Maureen O'Hara and Natalie Wood. After a divorced New York mother hires a nice old man to play Santa Claus at Macy's, she's startled by his claim to be the genuine article. So when his sanity is questioned, a lawyer defends him in court by arguing that he's not mistaken. So, this one is really about believing in something good, the kindness, the generosity, the hope. It can change lives. And, it's really it's about the magic, and, as a mother, my children are 7 and 10. So my oldest is probably on the cusp of, in the near future, she probably will lose the magic of the Santa Claus on Christmas morning. But, there's something really beautiful about this movie, because it teaches that children need magic, and that's innocent magic. So not just fantasy, and certainly not the ideology we see today, but just real magic, believing that, on that morning when they wake up, Santa Claus has visited and brought presents. And it's a great story, a great innocent story, but one that definitely you can, as you said, it has layers. So when you watch it when you're maybe 10 or 12, you might see something different than when you're 50 or 60. So it's a great one for all ages.
Yeah, no, and I have to say, when I look at it, Maureen O'Hara is, fantastic actress, and Natalie Wood, she's a very young Natalie Wood in this, and you can see the potential as well. So it's a great performances by those two actresses in this film. So yeah, a really lovely one for Christmas. The next one, let's go on. So Willy Wonka. So I'll talk about this one. So there's been a few remakes of this, actually. Charlie it was based on the Roald Dahl, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, actually, and they created this character Willy Wonka. And I mean, the person, I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's one of these, again, magical type of films. And Gene Wilder plays a blinder in this film. He's just unbelievable. Like you've never seen him before. He is Willy Wonka in every facet. And it has, there's so much to it. There's the spectacle of the film. It's so very colorful, and they go into the chocolate factory, and there's all sorts of things going on. And then it is a kind of a moral story as well, because you got the bold children, and you've got the quiet little good child they've all got this golden ticket to go there. And he's the one that stays the course, right? Because he's a good little guy. He's just quiet, and he's not he's not like some of the other kids that are on the trip, who kind of fall into different things as they go through the factory. It's just a great story. There's so much to it. Again, multiple layers, rewatchable multiple times. And as I say, the performance of Gene Wilder is just unbelievable. He really does play the part. And I know as I said, there's been some new remakes of it as well, which are pretty good films in themselves. They're kind of modernized versions.
Yeah, but I have to say the newest release, I have to say, I went to the cinema. I think I went twice, because my local cinema is €5 to get in. So I think we went twice, and my kids absolutely loved the new version. Brilliant. And I didn't sense anything that was inappropriate. It was lots of great singing and color and magic, and it was really, really fun. So definitely love the old version, and I'll be putting this on at Christmas. But the new one, I have to say, I couldn't fault the new one either.
Yeah, no, they stay true to it. In fairness, yeah. Absolutely. So they're safe. The two new versions are safe to watch as well. Yeah. The next one, again, this is one that you're not familiar with, Jan. I know this is a new one for you. The Railway Children is an English film, and this is amazing. I've grown up watching The Railway Children. It's a 1970 film, and there's been remakes of it, but this is by far and away the best version. So the new, I wouldn't go near the soulless remakes, is the term I'd use. They don't have the soul of the original film. I think it's a fantastic story. It's a middle class family. Their father gets arrested. He's missed a charge that he's actually innocent, but he's put in jail. He's convicted. So they've no money. They have to leave the house. They've lost everything because he's not bringing any money anymore. They have to move to the countryside. And there's 3 kids in the family and a lovely mother, and they're all lovely people. You'd love them all, and they have a great unity, a great sense of family. So even in the hard times and the hardship that they face, they have a positive outlook on it, and they befriend the people in the community, and the people befriend them because they're lovely people to deal with. And there's a selflessness. They're thinking about other people all the time. They're worried about what's happening to other people, even though they've come on hard times. So it's a fantastic moral for children to see that and to kind of learn from that. And the performances, I think I'll call out Jenny Agutter. And I actually kind of fancied Johnny Agutter when I was a young 13 or 14-year-old. She's a lovely girl, and she plays a fantastic part in the film. Really sensitive. She's a young girl coming of age. And her mother as well plays a really fantastic part. They're supposed to be very like each other. They actually say that in the film. So it's a beautiful film. It'll appeal at multiple levels. Children will just love it because it's kids having fun, and there's trains in it, and there's all sorts of stuff going on. And but adults will appeal. The more aspects of the relationships between them, the warmth between them, the generosity of spirit, I think is just fantastic, and it's got a happy ending. So what more do you want? So definitely go for the 1970 version. The new ones are nothing compared to it. So. Next one, Little Women. Jan, I don't know if you're familiar with this one, or I can take this one.
I haven't seen the film, but I read the book as part of my education in secondary school. That was when we were allowed to read the classics before they started getting banned, So I remember reading this book, and I will look forward to watching the movie. But I remember the key kind of lessons really from the book were, that growing up, it means you can accept, loss and change, responsibility. It's all about family and sisterhood. And, I remember reading the book and growing up as someone who did not have a sister. I remember reading this book thinking, wow, the power of sisterhood. It was just magical. And then I suppose in my adult life now, because I didn't grow up with sisters, the friends that I've established through my adult life, particularly during the trauma of the last 5 or 6 years, they really do become your sisters. And it brings me back to reading that book, Little Woman.
Yeah, no, wonderful. I my own late mother, she was part of 4 daughters, and she loved this film because and all of them did it, and it is heartwarming, and I like this particular version. Now, the newer version isn't so bad, but I like the 1994 version. It's got an all-star cast. Like Susan Sarandon is fantastic as the mother of the family. But there's a lot of younger actors, like Winona Ryder plays the part of Jo. Kirsten Dunst is in it. Christian Bale is in it, a young Christian Bale. And Gabriel Byrne is in it. He's the love interest of Jo at the end of the film and plays a superb part. It's really a lovely film. And again, it'll appeal at different levels to both the younger people in the family and to the older people in the family. Because obviously there's, I won't say adult themes, but they do grow up, obviously, and you get into their lives later on. It's a lovely story, and I think the 1994 version is the one to go for if you've got a choice. But the newer one isn't so bad either. But this, I particularly like this one. The Polar Express. I'll talk about this one, Janet. So this is not 2004, so it's been around for a while. It's what they would call a kind of a live action animation. So it's animated, but they took images of the actors' faces and kind of superimposed them on it. And it was relatively new at this point in time. So the actual character faces aren't probably the best. They're fine, they're okay, but they do this much better today. The technology is much better to do this today. But some of the imagery, the whole journey to the North Pole on this Polar Express is just amazing. The imagery is out of this world, and then the North Pole itself, where Santa and all his toy factories and all this stuff is going on, is just like any kid will just be blown out by watching this thing. It just catches. It's a feast for the eyes. You can actually watch it in 3D. I've watched it in 3D as well, and if you can get a chance, it's actually it's kind of designed for 3D as well. It's a spectacle. It's lovely. The children in it are lovely. There's lovely relationships between the children on the train. And again, you've got the kind of different characters. And the little boy is obviously, he's a quieter boy, and he's kind of nice, and he's trying to do nice things for his friends on the train. Lovely story, a spectacle as well. So kids will just love the spectacle aspect of it, and a huge Christmas theme to it. So definitely the Polar Express 2004. just go for it. Tom Hanks plays a role in it. He plays the conductor. He's probably kind of a little bit cross, the role he plays in it, but it's very good. Very great moral to the story, and a lovely viewing. So the next one, Jana, is the Snowman. Do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, I love the Snowman. I actually have the Snowman book, and my kids from when they were 2 or 3, they would look at all the pictures and kind of make up their own story. And the beautiful thing about this short movie, it's only 26 minutes long. It's an illustrated animation. It's very short, but there's no words. It's just images, music, and the kids, as they watch it, because there's no words, they just can use their imagination to, you know, get kind of engrossed in it. So it's about a young boy. He wakes up to a snowy morning and he builds a snowman in his yard. But that night, magic happens. The snowman in the garden comes to life. So the boy and the snowman become pals. They go on a wonderful adventure. There's scenes flying through the sky, visiting other snowmen, and attending a winter party. So by morning, the boy wakes up to find that sadly the sun has risen and his snowman friend has melted. So it's very sad, but the boy kind of remembers that night together of the magic of the snowman. So I think the lessons for this is to enjoy those special moments. You know, it's about friendship, being kind, having fun, using their imagination, but also it's okay to feel sad. You know, that little boy wakes up very sad when the snowman has melted. So I remember I bought the book years and years ago. I have for my kids every Christmas, I have a huge collection of Christmas books, and they only come out at Christmas. So they came out today from the shed, and they're in a big basket by the fireplace, and every night they get to pick their favorite Christmas book. And this has been in our basket for years. We did go to a theater and see this on a big screen at one of the art theaters, but we also have watched the film. And my kids are 7 and 10, but it's it's 26 minutes. You can just watch it, chill out if they're having a chaotic day and need some downtime. So I just love the Snowman. I love this little short film.
Yeah, absolutely. And the music and the singing is absolutely beautiful. And that's what people would probably remember when they hear the music. That's actually what will come to their mind, because it's magnificent. So
it's very calming. I find that if you're like, Christmas is busy, all the cooking and the cleaning up and the unwrapping and the excitement for Santa, it's a real calm one. There's no, scary scenes. There's no dialogue. It's just, music and pictures. And it kind of inspires the creative brain while calming it down. So that's definitely on my list this Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. Then the next one is White Christmas, Jana. So this is one, I guess, I've probably come back to. I saw this originally in black and white on a small black and white, I don't know, 14-inch television or something like that. And in its it has been reconditioned. It stars Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye, so that's a good start. There's a fantastic story. They're kind of trying to deal with some adversity. They're trying to put on this show, and they team up with 2 sisters. And of course, there's a romantic element to it, huge romantic element to it. Like it's that's a big part of the film. It's a musical. There's loads of musical numbers in it, and they're spectacular. Like there's dancing and it's really good music. And the final number is White Christmas. Of course, it's the famous Bing Crosby rendition of White Christmas, which is where the name of the film comes from. And it's just a lovely, heartwarming story. I always find people like Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye are very relaxing characters in films. I always find them, just the way they talk and everything is just so relaxing, and it's lovely. And it's, as I say, it's highly romantic as well. There's that aspect to it. And there's one of I think I was saying to you earlier, one of the lines in one of the songs, one of the earlier songs, because the 2 sisters are in this, right? And they have a song and they sing, God help the mister who gets between me and my sister, and God help the sister who gets between me and my man. So it's really funny. It's lovely. Like, I wouldn't be a huge musical buff now, to be honest, but I enjoy this, and it's the reconditioned colorized version of this is just absolutely fantastic. It's spectacular. It's totally like watching a different film from what I watched years ago. And a lovely story, and again, people trying to deal with some adversity and working together and all that kind of thing, and then the laced with music and romance and all this sort of stuff. So a great one for Christmas with a huge Christmas theme to it. So that's our 12, Jana. And I guess what we want to do, there's a number of honourable mentions. I'll just skip through them quickly, because there's obviously people may say, well, what about this, what about that? So there's a few others that people would have mentioned to us, so I'm going to skip through them pretty quickly. There's a 2009 version of A Christmas Carol. So We had the earlier one from 1984, and this one is again, it's a live action animation type, starring Jim Carrey actually as Scrooge, and it's very faithful to the story, which is great. But it can be a bit more spectacular in the visuals because it is a kind of an animation aspect to it, and I think this one could appeal to children, perhaps a little bit more younger children first as an introduction to the story. But it has all the elements of the Christmas Carol story, the original Dickens story. So it's all there. It's faithful to it, which is great. So yeah, definitely one worth checking out for maybe for the younger people in the family to watch. Togo, I think you might have seen some of this one, Jana. This is if you're a dog lover, this is a great film. If you're an animal lover,
Yeah, I watched some of it. I
yeah,
say some of it sometimes where my kids are screen free. If they sit and watch something after 30 minutes, they're like, we want to go play outside. We want to go build Lego, do art.
yeah,
They don't actually sit too long to watch the telly. But this we did get most of the way through, and they liked it last year. I found that it was very good. It was based on the story of Togo, the sled dog who led the 1925 serum run despite being considered too small and too weak. So again, it's great for animal lovers, a story of sort of the being persistent and even if you're the underdog, overcoming that adversity and the bond as well between human and animals. So I found it really, really good, and the scenery is nice. Going through the all of
all right.
the hundreds of miles of frozen wilderness and the brutal weather, the exhaustion and all of that, and the endurance. It was really good. So I'll give it a second go now that my kids are older. Their attention span might be longer, staring at the screen.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think it's it's new to me. I only watched it over the last few days, and yeah, it's well worth watching. And
Yeah,
it's like a roller coaster ride through the ice and the snow, as part of the
yeah.
race. It's spectacular, and
I,
William
I
Dafoe
think I'll
does a
take
great
my
job.
two sled dog kids out for a long 2-hour run in the forest and then put them on the couch. They'll be so tired they'll have no interest in moving, and I'll see. Let's watch the whole thing this year.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd say for dog lovers, you'll love this
Yeah.
film. The next one, Ben-Hur. I guess this is kind of probably been watching Ben-Hur at Christmas time since I was 3 or something. I don't know, as long as I can ever remember. It's a huge epic film. It's a long film. It's got an intermission in the middle of it. I think it's about 3 hours long or something like that. And it's set in Roman times. It's based on a classic novel set in the time of Christ, obviously, and there's kind of overlaps with that. There's a religious theme to this film for sure. And Charlton Heston plays Judah Ben-Hur, and is a fantastic person who kind of was privileged, if I use the term. He was a kind of a Roman nobleman or whatever, and then he through circumstances he ends up being on a slave ship, as an oarsman on a slave ship, which gets blown out of the water. And there's a fantastic story that follows that, and it really is heartwarming. Like it's a kind of a roller coaster ride, and Heston is fantastic, and it's a great cast overall. Spectacular film because it's got all the Roman stuff. So it'll appeal to children from that perspective as a spectacle. Children will get all this. They'll love the spectacle aspect of it. It's all very colorful, obviously. And then at a more adult level, you'll kind of get the other themes that are in it as well. And obviously, there's a religious theme to it as well. There's a redemptive theme to it. And wonderful, there's a sensitivity to it. It's a fantastic, some of the relationships you'll see between people in the film. So a fantastic film, very long film now. So you really want to be ready for this one. You might take it in 2 halves, but a classic, absolute classic, and rewatchable. Every Christmas. And it's highly highly rated. Home Alone.
I
Talk
love this.
about
I
this
watched
one.
this last week with my kids, or a couple of weeks ago. I just love Home Alone. I watch it every year. We all probably, anyone who's seen it remembers poor Kevin McAllister, that 8-year-old boy who's accidentally left behind when his family goes on a Christmas vacation because the house is just pure chaos. Now we know that no parent would really leave their child behind on holiday without knowing, but it's all fictitious in the movie. But little Kevin McAllister, he enjoys his independence, but then the trouble arises when those two burglars, the wet bandits, attempt to break into the home. So this little 8-year-old boy, I mean, you just laugh until your ribs hurt. The creativity, the courage, all the clever traps, playing the movie, clips for those burglars. he really learns how to protect his house, and he also learns the lesson from this one is the importance of family just in time for Christmas. So, family is important. Responsibility comes with that independence. He used creativity to solve problems, and he didn't have any less courage at age 8 than probably an adult in that situation with burglars hanging around. So it was just really, it's a fun watch. It's, I don't know
Yeah.
what the age rating is, but my kids are 7 and 10. We watched it. They had great laughs about it, and it was definitely an age appropriate film.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's gas, and Joe Pesci is in the film, and if you've
Yeah.
seen the Joe Pesci characters in some of other movies, it's kind of
Yeah.
the poor little guy was potentially in trouble there with Joe Pesci coming after him. So, yeah, great fun, fantastic fun, no doubt about it. Toy Story. So the original Toy Story from 1995, which it seems so long ago, isn't it? 1995, was the original toy. It is fantastic. It's got its main character, the cowboy and the new spaceman, Buzz Lightyear, or whatever, and there's the interaction between them and the interaction between them and the other toys, and the children throwing out the old toys, this thing, and it kind of brings a humanity to those toys, as it were, as they come to life in the film. It's a fantastic film. It's a lovely, as an animation, as a story. The story beats are great, and I think children and adults will just love it. I think this is actually probably the best of them, but they're all very good. Actually, the sequels are actually good films as well.
Yeah. I said the quotes. I love the quotes. Infinity and beyond. They get stuck in your head, and 20 years later, you're still when you see the name of the film, you come up with the quotes. But it's magic. It's fun. It's innocent. There's no wokery, DEI, because I don't think it really existed in 1995. So you're pretty safe if you go back that far. Well, for the most part.
You are. It's just fun, and it's great, and it's nothing like children seeing the toys talking to each other. This one, The Star. This was recommended to us, and it's kind of a play on the nativity aspect, I guess, of Christmas from an animal's perspective, from the donkey perspective, actually. And so it's more of a child's cartoon, to be honest. So it sits in that character. It is more of a cartoon, and that's the way it plays. And I think it'll appeal to we had the Nativity Story at the start, which is a more, if I say, more serious rendition of the story, because it's kind of holding to the original story. This one's coming from a different perspective, and I think children will probably love it and like it. Young children in particular. I think adults mightn't like it as much, but it's one for the little ones, I think, as an introduction, and then you can bring them to the full story in due course. So it's an alternative view and a kind of a playful kind of cartoon version. So that's that one. And then The Bishop's Wife. This one appears on a lot of lists, actually. I've seen that. I've kind of done some research the last few days, and again, a film I wasn't really familiar with. And Cary Grant, David Niven, so that's a good start when you have those two people in a film. And very interesting story. David Niven's playing the part of a bishop who's trying to, Episcopalian bishop with his wife, and they're trying to build a cathedral, and they're dealing with a large donor, and they're having difficult time with her because she's kind of got her view as to what has to be done, and they're not in agreement. And this angel from heaven, which is Cary Grant, right, comes down, and he smooths everything out, as only Cary Grant can do. So it's a very nice story, and obviously happy endings all around. And it's just showing the kind of people dealing with challenging situations, and then how the mellowing influence of this angel character that comes down and softens everybody up and gets everybody working with each other and everyone back together again, and healing those relationships and healing all the issues and stuff. And that's what it's about. And that's the kind of happy message at the end. And
I haven't seen that one, but with Cary Grant, I'm definitely going to add this to my watch, even if it's after the kids are asleep.
Oh yeah, it's the debonair Cary Grant, as you would expect him. He's in full voice in this one. So a nice film, highly recommended. I've seen it on a lot of lists, actually. And again, it's not particularly a Christmas theme, but it's kind of a Christmassy type movie that you'd watch at Christmas time. So that's it, Janet. That's our list. That's 12, our top 12, and our 8 honorable mentions. There Brilliant. We go.
So we said Infinity and Beyond. I feel like now my Home Alone one, I feel like saying, to anyone out there who's destroying kids' movies with this wokery and DEI, the thing I'd say to all of them is Keep the change, you filthy animal, from Home Alone. So it's great to have this list, and I think as a follow up from this, after the new year, after we all take a couple weeks break, it'd be great to do sort of a reading list as well, because we have a lot of subscribers who message us and say, I want to have this talk with my child, or they're getting to this age, and do you have any recommended reading? And we certainly can say we know what not to read, and we know what we've opposed, but I think we need to maybe do a recommended reading list as well for things we do suggest. And, my girl who's 10, she just got the box set for her grandmother in America, sent her the Little House on the Prairie reading box set, which I read when I was little, and she just got the Anne of Green Gables one, which I also read as a child, and getting some of those nice classic books, because kids are losing the magic that we had as a child, watching the classic movies that we just reviewed, those films, and reading classic books, and they're getting really sort of, I suppose, dumbed down, and the books and films out there are very much indoctrinating. So it's important to do what we did tonight, to recommend films for the Christmas season, but we need to now recommend maybe some books based on recommendations that people send to us, and then movies for all year long. We need to make sure that children are allowed to enjoy and have the right to enjoy a childhood filled with beauty, innocence, and magic like we had in our time. So I think that was a great list, Eugene. It's going to keep me busy over the next 2 weeks when the kids are off. So try to really enjoy those magic moments with the family, or whatever it is you're doing, and not get too lost in the hustle and bustle. So have a great Christmas, everyone, and God bless, and thanks for your support.